Hey, I'm Jill. I was born and raised on the West Coast, but in 2023, my husband and myself decided to move to the East Coast, so we packed up the two dogs, cat, and our baby snake and made our way over. We landed in northern New Hampshire, but we decided in 2024 to go back and visit our friends and family over the course of 4 months. We bought a new to us Casita camper, and while we were working on how to train our reactive Aussie and give our aging Golden the best life possible, we are in for a lot more adventures in 2025. So I hope you enjoy this glimpse into what that trip was like for us and stay tuned for what's to come. Enjoy. Hi, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update because prior to the video that you're gonna see, a lot happened on our first day, and honestly, it was the only issues we ever had, so I figured instead of just putting it in text, I'll let you see my face and how I look now because I've dyed my hair. A lot of things have changed, but we... Ronan, that's not time to play. Come here. He loves this ball. Oh, they both love this ball. All right. Anyway, when we first started this journey, we we knew that we wanted to come to the East Coast, and that plan itself changed probably 10 times, I would say. We initially planned to go from Oregon to Michigan because my husband has friends in Michigan, but then the East just kind of kept pulling us, and we just kept looking further and further east, and then we found an amazing apartment, and this apartment was in Dover, New Hampshire. It is a just adorable town. It used to be really rough from what we were told, but when we were there, it was just absolutely perfect. Everything was in walking distance, and unfortunately, it was just too expensive for us to rent and live there full time. And when we came up to northern New Hampshire, we just fell in love with the White Mountains, and it's just felt like home ever since we laid eyes on it, and we just can't go back. That's our big old boy. Anyway, I'm assuming that you won't be able to hear the dogs barking too much, but we decided to buy a home in New Hampshire, and the house that we bought, maybe I'll do a video on this later on, but we bought it from two older men who did not have the resources to move all of their things out. Decided to buy our home in New Hampshire. It came with a lot of work. We bought it from two older men who just didn't have the resources to move their things out, and unfortunately a lot of it was in the realms of hoarder territory, and a lot of it did get disposed of. But our first year here was ripping up 5 to 6 layers of wood from our flooring and removing all of their stuff out of the house because they did not come pick it up within that set time frame that we had allotted them. So all in all, our first year was just getting the house ready for us to live in it. We slept in this room, in our sunroom, in our tent on sleeping pads for the first few months because both of us, being in Oregon, had never really experienced certain things that this house has, and we just wanted to make sure that us and the animals were safe while we were shucking up 7 layers of floor. So it was not the best year for the dogs. I'm sure they were not super stoked around then. But then we decided, well, we really want to travel. We want to go explore. We want to do things, have a home base, but be able to leave. And that prompted us into looking for travel vans, the old school Chevy vans that you can that have couches and stuff in them, pop-up trailers, camper trailers, you name it, we thought about it. And inevitably we came upon fiberglass campers, and the overwhelming response was that they hold up 1,000 times better than your traditional camper because they are 2 molded pieces that fix to each other. So there's one seam around the middle versus all of the edges and the windows and the doors. So overall, it was just a real clear option for us. We ended up going with the Casita brand because it was, one, more affordable, but two, everyone just seems to absolutely love it. I'm sure it's like that with most things, is that you can start a little cult. And we are part of the Casita cult, the Casita camper cult. We absolutely love it. It is our favorite thing. I cannot wait to go back in the camper. I absolutely love her so much. And when we finally found one that was like relatively new, ours is, I believe, a 2017, if I remember right. So 2017, it's an independent version. So instead of having a dinette in the front, you really just have the kitchen and then 2 really long bench seats that can turn into a, I believe, a king size bed when it's all put together. I would prefer a different one just because with Josh and I both working remotely as well, there's not as much counter space, but more to come on that later because I think we have a solution. But with that, neither of us have towed a day in our lives. I'm sure I've been in a car, many a car, and my family's when they take their camper out, but I've never driven it. I have no idea what I'm doing with towing. And we decided, let's buy our camper. Let's buy our camper and let's go pick it up. And that's what we did. Our camper was located down in Pennsylvania, and my headquarters just happened to be down in Maryland. So we decided to take a little trip. I'm just gonna have to put the dogs away. Come on, Ronan. That'll be a little less distracting. But we drove down. We spent a night in Pennsylvania before driving an additional 2 hours to go pick her up. And the gal we bought her from could not have been more aligned with me. Like, she is a spiritual girl, does energy work. She's traveled. She's just an amazing human. I absolutely love her. She also offers a bunch of energy healing type work. So if you guys want to know about that, let me know and I can share that. And she just in general was a dream, an absolute dream. She ended up giving us her tow hitch because we couldn't find one that would fit well. Driving from Home Depot back to her house was about 45 minutes. So my husband was at Home Depot and calling us, trying to figure out which one we had or which one we needed. Not her or I didn't know. So inevitably she just gave us hers, which was so sweet. She ended up driving me to Home Depot so we could all do it together. And I can't thank her enough. Her generosity and kindness was just everything that we needed because we had no freaking idea what we were doing. So she walked us through the whole camper while Josh was at Home Depot. We washed it, we cleaned it out, we got the windows open. I mean, she was looking cute before we drove off with her. And in the intro video, you see just that little clip of Josh driving off, and that was us like actually leaving her property after being there for 5 hours trying to get everything situated. So thank you again to her if she sees this. Her name is Sue. I love you, Sue. Thank you so much for everything. But we leave. We're excited. We want to go get some air on the camper's tires because she's been living in it, but it's just been sitting there. It hasn't really been moved for a while. So we go to a gas station to get air, and the attachment fails, ends up draining all of the air out of our tires. But because everything always provides, Josh's mom had actually got us this device. I actually think I have it here. It's a connection. Yeah. So this connects to a Halo battery charger, and you connect this attachment to it. You screw this into the tire, and then it will start pumping your tires for you using the battery as like the energy source. So we ended up pumping our own tires after thinking we were going to be broke down immediately out of the gate. We get air in the tires, we drive it around, it looks great. And then we decide, okay, well, we need to head to Maryland next. Map to Maryland. And then we realize at the very last second that the directions are taking us through the scenic route. And it says that you can only have so long of a trailer. And we were, I will say, probably within 1 to 2 feet of that max limit. So we were extremely nervous. Joshua drove the entire time, white knuckling it, because neither of us have any fucking idea what we're doing. And now we're going on a scenic route with really tight single lane one way and a really tight single lane the opposite way. Dips, valleys, hills. Like, it was, if there was ever a beginner course to be had on how well you can keep your chill when you're towing, it's going on scenic routes for your first hour ever towing. So I don't recommend. It was very stressful, but we made it. We get out of this beautiful scenic route, which was honestly beautiful. And then we are, I believe, just outside of Gettysburg, and we got in the campground over there. We called, they didn't have our spot or our stuff, our paperwork filled out, so we had to call the emergency number. And they say, take spot 1, we'll get it figured out in the morning, no worries. So we're like, cool. And then all hell breaks loose. We have been at Sue's house for 5 to 6 hours. The dogs have been in the car since about 7 that morning. So they have spent all day, aside from a few moments out of the car for going potty and just kind of stretching their legs, in the back seat of the car. They have no idea what's going on. They're so stressed. They're just worked up. So we're like, let's get set up as fast as possible. One of us will stay with the dogs in the camper. The other will go to Walmart and get whatever stuff we need. So we pull into spot 1. It takes us about 15 minutes to figure out how to back the thing in and how to get close enough to the electrical box. And then we do what you're not supposed to do. I'll cut to the chase. Don't unhitch, don't do anything until you are 110% certain that you will not have to move your camper at all. Otherwise, you're going to be really pissed off when you have to load everything back up and then hook your car back up and then reposition your camper. So we find out that we did that part wrong. We unhooked so Josh could go to Walmart because there was a huge hornet nest in the electrical panel. And anytime you lift the lid to plug your stuff in, a giant hornet would fly out, circle you, and until you left, she would go right back up in her little nest. So we, after multiple attempts and probably looking like buffoons, trying to rush in there real fast, someone distracts the bee while the other person goes and plugs in the electrical. It didn't work. The bee was too smart. She was too fast. So unfortunately, we had to end her existence by using some bee spray. We tried to make it as quick as possible. I am not one for letting anything suffer, beetles, bugs included. I don't like it. And then we are like, ugh, bee's gone, let's plug in. There's no power to that spot. And when I tell you that we finally got it figured out, we were exhausted. I'm pretty sure I was near tears because I was so frustrated. The dogs were most anxious I've ever seen them because they've been in the car for so long. They don't understand why we're constantly leaving or going or getting back in the car just to get back out. And when we did, they did finally put us in a pull through, which did work. And the people that worked there were so kind. They were rushing around trying to get us a spot. Like, they genuinely cared and were being really, really awesome about it. And it just so happened that I was exhausted from the entire day, so it had nothing to do on their end. But once we finally got parked and unloaded, it was the end of all of our issues. We drove to Oregon. We spent a month with my husband's family, a month with my family, and then we took a month trip back. So 4 months in total. We took about a month to get there because we worked during the week and then we would just drive on the weekend. And honestly, that was amazing because it felt like we weren't in a rush. We could still work. We didn't have to use all of our time off. It was just perfection. Absolutely loved it. I'm really, really excited for the adventures to come because we have not explored really any campground on the East Coast. I went to one that I absolutely loved, and then this fall, the road got wiped out by all of the flooding that had happened over here from like a big ice melt. So unfortunately, that one is out of the running. It also is a backpacking one, but that means that there's a shit ton of places on the East Coast that we're going to visit this year, and I'm just really excited to share that all with you. So if you want more a video or more information about how the Oregon trip went, I can post that. And otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy. This is what you're going to see here is going to be the first night that we finally got in the pull through, and we had dinner, and now we are just going to rest. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next one. All right, we have finally made it to our campground. The first place we pulled up to, we unloaded, did all the things, and there's a huge hornet's nest in the plug-in area, so Josh went get a couple more things from Walmart, got a hornet death sprayer, only to come to find out that that whole box is broken and it doesn't have any power. So we went and got dinner and had to pack up and move, and they moved us to a new spot that is called a pull-through. So far it seems fine. There's a neighbor dog every time we go outside that barks at us, so that's a little concerning. I'm hoping that they bring him in at night and it won't be an issue. But unreal for our first day. So many road bumps, which we kind of knew was going to happen. We just didn't think it was going to keep happening, you know? So very excited to be settled in. We have the bed laid out now. We'll move it. I can take that. We'll move it into tables tomorrow because Josh has to work, so that'll be fun just to kind of have it in a different layout. But we're gonna feed the dogs and the cat, take them potty, and then get ready for bed. It's freaking late. It's day one in our new casita, and well, new to us, it's used. So make some breakfast with us. So I already have Josh's tea made for him, so it's steeping. And now we're gonna make some more hot water because I'm gonna have my cachava in the morning. This has kind of been our decision as far as like an easy breakfast. It is not AIP compliant, so we're just gonna have to be flexible with life. How about a little tour while we let that heat up? So obviously, bed, dining table. This table fits in between these two to create the longer bed, and then you put the cushions on top of it. And we slept this way, which actually worked really well for us. We're both pretty short, so you can see Jack is still just hunkered. Hi! Hi, sorry. Go back to bed. Ronan and Cooper are not quite acclimated, but I think they will be. We just need to find our new routine. And everything up here, all of these are just tiny little storage cabinets. So I put some of my books up there, my bag with my charging cords. We haven't really done anything with the rest of these. This cabinet has some of my supplements because I can't go without Amare / don't want to ever. This is what originally I think they come with a microwave. We don't want a microwave, and the gal who sold it to us didn't have one, so this has actually been a nice kind of like dry goods storage area, and it's like really deep. We could put a lot of stuff in there, so I'm super excited about that. We have a Dometic fridge, and right now, because we're hooked up to an RV park, it's running on AC power. And tons of storage in these cabinets underneath. We have like garbage and the dog food in there, our kitchen utensils. The gal gave us this binder that she put together of all of the, basically the owner guide, and we've already used it so much, so I'm so happy she gave that to us. And then we have a 3-burner propane stove. I need to go get more propane today because all I have are my little camper ones, as you can tell. So we'll do that today. I also need to get a couple more things. But 3-burner propane, we have a vent hood and a vent light, and then our bathroom and our shower, which is actually Jack's litter room. And so we can use the bathroom. We need to put the chemical in it. We're not going to use the shower in here. The shower is right up there. Has a fun little built-in caddies and a sink. But because we're not going to use the shower, we're basically just gonna, if we need to use this bathroom at all, we have to add a little bit more water, put the chemical in, because this will go into the black water tank, and then basically I guess use Jack's litter box as a squatty potty. And then this has a ton of storage in there too for toilet paper or whatever else you want to put in there. And I just kind of hung up my little makeup caddy. So since Jack is still asleep, we're just going to close that. Okay, good. And then this is a closet. So right now we obviously haven't moved any of our clothes in, and at the bottom there's quite a bit of storage. For those are table legs, a solar panel she gave us, and then a box of like random parts. So that'll get situated eventually. Gotta lock it. And then, yeah, that is the inside. So a couple things that we need to get today are going to be not a fitted sheet, I don't think, because with the cushions that just doesn't really make sense. It's not like really going to fit well. Maybe I'll get one if Josh really wants one. He's a sheets guy. He can't sleep without sheets. So that's on the list for today. Okay, we got all of our, oh, Maylin! Had to bring him in finally. And we got a bunch of stuff laying around the casita that is ready to be put away. So let's do it.